our dear friend who is literally one of the last great guys in Hollywood, an Oscar winner, a phenomenal actor, a very, very busy actor, but most importantly, a humanitarian who does all kinds of charity work that you know about, but even more that you don't know about, including paying for games for dozens and dozens of people to go see the Tigers all summer long here in Detroit on his dime. And when he comes in, he goes and sits with them and doesn't want any attention brought to it or anything like that. So he's probably mad at me for even bringing it up.
And he played the greatest muscular Saint Nick I've ever seen in a movie.
Yes, yes. If you've seen Red One, then you know that there is a version of Santa Claus that you haven't yet seen, and that is the buff Santa Claus. Here is our friend J.K. Simmons.
Hey.
How you doing, J.K.?
You know, well, first of all, I'm really good. It's really good to hear you, and I'm happy to be a part of this. I don't know how long your line of bald white guys one after another is. I'm happy to be a part of it. Big Kornheiser fan. I'm just thinking you should have saved the Guys and Dolls tune for me since I did it on Broadway. I'm just saying.
Oh, wow.
I know.
True.
It's in the song. Just don't get ahead of me.
Oh, wow. Did you? Who did you play in Guys and Dolls?
Street.
I did. Well, it depends on which night you were there, but I
Right.
did it in 1992 and 3 with Nathan Lane, Peter Gallagher,
Yeah,
Faith Prince, fantastic cast, and
Pretty
I was
good.
spinning South Street.
that's right.
So I sang that song. I sang Guys and Dolls. That song
Wow.
with Walter Bobby.
They
Yeah.
never
Wow.
should have let him sing it. They should have given it to Nathan Lane.
Of course, J.K. is from our own backyard here in Detroit, and lets people know about it, particularly when it comes to Tigers baseball. We, of course, are trying to let people know about it here and in other ways, and remind people that for all the joy of the new downtown Detroit, and we do revel in that. And Mayor Duggan was on with us earlier today. But, Detroit still remains a place where the median income is about $37,000. And that means there's half the city is living underneath that. And 43% of our kids live in poverty level or below. And that's 3 times the national average. So we've climbed out of the dregs to, a little bit, but the dregs are still around our ankles. And that's why we raise money here for our operation. Say Detroit, JK, is now going into its 19th year.
Wow.
And we just had one of the new programs we started is with a guy who was in prison for 29 years for a crime he didn't commit. And he came out, and we gave him this opportunity, which he has taken and run with. And he gets together police officers and formerly incarcerated people or kids who are in gangs or kids who are at-risk youth. And we bring them together. The police officers they're in plain clothes. And we bring them together to grill, barbecue and chickens and ribs and things like that. And the other side has no idea that they're working with police officers. And they eat and they laugh and they mess around. And then he stands up and says, okay, let's all introduce ourselves. And after the group says, well, I was in the joint for a little bit, but I'm out now, blah, blah, blah. And then a guy will stand up and say, well, I'm a police officer. And half the time, the other half of the table wants to get up and go. But everybody stays, and for several hours, they talk about their experiences, and it has had a profound effect on the relationship between the police and citizens here in Detroit, because we've done it well over 100 times all throughout the community. And it's pretty powerful stuff, and that's kind of what one of the many programs that Say Detroit runs that we're raising money for today.
Mitch, that is such a fantastic idea, and I got goosebumps here hearing you tell me about it, because I've portrayed convicts and I've portrayed police, and I feel like I learned a fair amount about the system from both sides, and that is a there have been a lot of versions of let's try to foster some understanding. But that is the best version of that I've ever heard of. That is fantastic.
Well, and it's something we're very proud of to have created here with Say Detroit, and just one of a multitude of programs. We even got a bicycle factory now where we build bicycles or take old bicycles and refurbish them. We make these beautiful teal bicycles that we then give away. We've given away 850 of them, I think, already this year to people who need transportation to get to jobs, because Detroit, it's hard to get around, or kids who don't have a way to get to school. And the people who make them are formerly incarcerated people who are looking for an opportunity, and we've provided jobs for them there. And we have a factory now. We like nuts and bolts making bicycles, and we just try to look at ideas that need to be done and create them. And that's what your support is helping us do here in Detroit.
Yeah, and I actually remember reading about that one in one of your emails and thinking what a fantastic idea it is. And now, especially that Detroit, like most cities now, is becoming more bike friendly. That really can help people. Get back and forth to work, get back and forth to school.
Yeah,
that's a great deal.
Who do we have on today who was just in a film with J.K.? Oh, Jeff Daniels, who said he played Reagan, and
he was George Schultz.
Yeah. You were George Schultz, right?
It was fantastic. Everything except the fact that Daniels couldn't shut his mouth and kept spoiling the results of the Lions games for me.
That's what he said.
because I was always watching the next day because we were shooting it in Reykjavik, Iceland. He was a fantastic Reagan. Jared Harris plays Gorbachev.
Yeah.
And for people who weren't around in the mid '80s, I mean, those two guys, along with George Schultz and all their staff and everybody else, I mean, the world was at a tipping point. I know it feels like we are right now too, but
right.
But those two guys basically stopped each other's nations from potentially blowing up the world, and it was a magnificent event in human history. And Daniels killed it as Reagan, and I can't wait to see the movie.
Well, I can't wait to see it because 2 Michiganders are in it, and that's really good for us. And congratulations on Red One, the big blockbuster that's out there now. If you want to see Santa Claus in a whole different light, go see J.K. Simmons. But you played cops, you've played criminals, and you played Santa Claus. I'm pretty sure there are not too many actors who can say all 3 of those things.
Yeah, maybe not.
And Kornheiser can't either. He may be bald and white, but he can't. So. And so, but before we let you go, I want to thank you for not only all the tickets that you got for kids over the summer to go see Tigers games, but just for doing that, quietly and not asking for any attention. And every night the Tigers were playing, there were the people there on account of J.K. Simmons's generosity, and for that you're rewarded with a John Pizzarelli tune, and we'll see what rhymes with Simmons or what he's got in store for you, John.
Yeah, I was going to go, we got JK online, his acting's mighty fine, he's done Guys and Gals 2 years after it, but I couldn't do it that farce. But I do have JK Simmons. He's a faithful Detroit guy, J.K. Simmons. He's an Oscar-winning guy. We're always glad when you are here. He's been on Broadway, Benny South Street, Captain Hook, Law and Order. He's even read Clancy's audiobook. He's number 1 with St. Detroit, that's true. He even once threw a bottle at my head. That's all I got.
All right, that's really good.
He did throw a bottle at my head. At your thing.
Yeah, it was a plastic bottle. Calm down.
It was a plastic bottle.
It's late in the day.
Jazz guitarist, so soft.
Right?
Yeah. Well,
and he did a great Milton Berle in the Saturday Night movie.
Yes, I saw that. The only time I ever laughed at someone unzipping their pants in a movie. Yeah. You did it great. Well, JK, anything else you want to add before we let you go?
Just that I'd love to do, first of all, encourage people to continue donating to Save Detroit, as I and my wife and I, through our foundation, will continue to do. And I'd love to, take some more people to some Tigers games this year.
Okay. Well, we're going to, I think we have an auction item up here for a chance to go to a Tigers game with you. So we're going to try to raise some money that way.
Had a great time doing that last year, and I'm not going to guarantee a Tigers win, but we got a fun team to root for now.
Better chance of it next year, yeah. Great to talk to you, JK. Thanks for always remembering where you came from.
Thanks, Mitch.
J.K. Simmons here on the Mitch Albom
So long,
show,
JK.
and